Hello, Starpoint, and today we are going to be talking about engineering disciplines. So this is Unit 1.6, and this is the first thing you should be watching here is this particular PowerPoint. Okay, what is engineering? It is the application of math and scientific principles to better or to improve life. That is the definition of engineering. There are four big fields of engineering. They're kind of like these are like the topics or the overreaching uh, titles for them. There's chemical engineering, civil engineering, electrical engineering, mechanical engineering. I myself was a mechanical engineer and designer. Most other disciplines are subsets of all of these four. So chemical engineers, they apply scientifically the principles of chemistry and physics and engineering to design and operation of plants for the production of materials that undergo chemical changes during their processing. So they're responsible for new and improved products and processes. Things like new fuels for rockets, reactors, uh, booster propulsions. They're responsible for medicines and vaccines and serums and plasma and plastics and synthetics and textiles. Chemical engineers are the people, and I'm recording this video during the COVID-19 crisis. So these are the kinds of people right now that are working on the vaccines. Then there are civil and construction engineers. They plan and design and supervise the construction of facilities in public and private sectors. And the projects that they do vary widely. Could be anywhere from something in outer space to offshore. It could be a transit system. You can see this list here. It's very extensive of the different types of things that civil engineers do and talk about. As a matter of fact, we do have a class in architecture and civil engineering. Electrical and electronics engineering, those people deal with the motion of electrons and metals. Their work really focuses on big electrical systems, might be working on motors and generators, electrical circuits in buildings, power transmission systems, electrical generation plants. Those are the electrical engineers. Mechanical engineers, they apply the principles of mechanics and energy to the design of machines and devices. And they're most often associated with devices that move, but those things include thermal design as well as heating, ventilation, and air conditioning. They do vibration analysis, they work with lubrication, they deal with gears and bearings. There are other engineering disciplines. For instance, there are aeronautical engineers. They deal with the movement of fluids in the Earth's atmosphere. Air is got a lot of the same principles as water does in terms of the way it behaves in a fluid or as a fluid state. Aerospace and aeronautical engineers, they deal with environments that are not found on Earth. They work on propulsion for rockets, uh, different types of materials that go into actually building planes and rockets and stuff like that, and thermodynamics. Agricultural engineers, these guys are blending engineering knowledge with soil systems, land management, and environmental controls. There's 5 specialty fields in agricultural engineering that you might get involved in. Architectural engineer, they work with architects and they focus on the structural integrity and safety of a building's design. Structural engineers in this field are very similar. The main difference is their concern for aesthetics, in other words, how things look. Automotive engineers, I couldn't figure out when I first looked at this slide why they had this guy on this little tiny uh, excavator, but they design and build all types of vehicles. Cars, trucks, tractors, bulldozers, motorcycles, anything that has an engine, anything that has a structure, uh, things that have tires. Biomedical engineers, they bridge engineering between physical and life sciences in identifying and solving medical and health-related problems. There's three general divisions. There's bioengineering, there's medical engineering, and clinical engineering. One of the companies that I worked for in my past is called LSI Solutions now, and I was doing mechanical engineering work when I worked for that company. Computer engineers, they design and organize computers. They might be hardware engineers or software engineers. The largest consumer of computers in today's world, by the way, is the automotive industry. Industrial engineers, they design and improve the installation and systems of people, materials, and energy to produce a product at the lowest possible cost. So industrial engineers establish plants, they establish power, assembly lines, stuff of that nature. Manufacturing engineers, these are the people that design a manufacturing facility for a specific product or products. They deal with the layout. Sorry, I might have mixed that up with industrial engineer. Well, there's crossover between all of these. Anyways, so they design the physical plant layout, the use of existing machines or new machines. Uh, they purchase or rent facilities. They have a lot of input into how things are assembled. So that's the extent of this particular PowerPoint. When you go into the Google Classroom, and let's see if I can get to that. Yep, here we go. When you go into the Google Classroom today, you'll see the activity 1.6 Discover Engineering. There's three things here. One is a Word document that you should look at. That's less than one page. There is a second PowerPoint that I'm not going to cover here called 1.6a Engineering Overview. You can look at that. That might help you with doing some of the questions that are right here in this Google form. So you'll, after you get done looking at all these things, go to this Discover Engineering Google form and fill out the questions that are in there. They're written answer, written response. Just, take your time and get them done. So that's the extent of it for today. I'll talk to you again.